Hello, friends. It is time once again for Citadel Greyline to be right here on the air with you. John Rawl is my name, and wonderful to have you back here on this program powered in part by IPS Packaging and Automation. And we're going to tell you more about this South Carolina based and Citadel led company as we go forward on today's show. It's going to be a fun show. Why? Because the Citadel absolutely dominated the Samford Bulldogs when they met on the gridiron in Homewood this past Saturday. We'll break it all down, and it was great to get a SoCon opener for Maurice Straighton's ball club. But the challenge this week might even be tougher. It's going to be a tough contest in Boiling Springs, North Carolina, as the Citadel goes back up there for the first time since the 2016 season, I think it was, and face off with the Running Bulldogs of GWU, which is a pretty darn good football team. I don't do this show by myself. I couldn't do it without our great array of sponsors, and those sponsors are back with us once again this week on the show, and those sponsors include not only IPS Packaging and Automation, but Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, Hood Construction with a great grasp of construction projects across the Palmetto State and beyond, and then we've got our Senior Private Shop from this week. We're going to have a great question from Senior Private Shop, and I've got the question, and I can't wait to ask you. You know, last week during the show, we actually had a winner while we were in progress. So that was a fun thing to have happen to us last week. Andrew Miller is with the Charleston Post and Courier. Hello, Andrew. Welcome back to Citadel Greyline.
Hey, John. How's it going?
Well, it's going good. I mean, when's the last time we saw the Citadel have a road victory of this margin?
Yeah, it definitely has been a while. One of the things that was really interesting to me was that they were able to score in all three facets of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. Had a fumble return for a touchdown. I don't know what I would call that fake field goal that Samford ran, and they return. I guess that's kind of another fumble return for a touchdown, and then had a pick six. And I thought the offense was pretty balanced. Maybe they could have held the ball for a little bit longer, but, that's just kind of quibbling over minor details. I thought overall, really good performance from the Citadel in all three facets of their game, and they kind of started to generate a little bit of momentum and going into the Gardner-Webb game. And obviously Gardner-Webb's going to be athletically a very talented team, and a team that already proved they can play with just about anybody in the SoCon, beating Western Carolina. I think they were down 35-3 or 35-7 and came back and won that game. So obviously a pretty formidable opponent coming up again on the road for the Bulldogs again.
40-13, the good Bulldogs over the Samford Bulldogs as the Citadel moves to 1-1, 1-0, and atop the only school with a SoCon victory right now is the Citadel Bulldogs. Thomas Scruggs is checking in with us once again, our Bulldog insider. He's been working hard this week, going to the coaches show and representing Citadel Greyline and more. Thomas, hopefully you won't be sending us an invoice for your hard work.
No, John, that was purely voluntary.
Okay.
But no, I was able to go over to over the Horizon Brewery, which has been around for about a year over off of Rutledge. It's owned by some grads, and the coach does his show every Monday night, Beyond the Barracks. So I got a chance to talk to Coach Drayton, talk to his wife, talk to the sports information director, try to talk up Citadel Greyline. It was a good night.
And how did that go?
And of course, he was in a good mood, being atop the SoCon.
Yeah, so you represented the Citadel Greyline there. We appreciate that. And one of the things Thomas mentioned, by the way, is we don't want to give away all the goodies, but we're going to do something kind of special for the big money game on the schedule this year when the Dogs go to Ole Miss. Thomas and myself, and if we can get Andrew on the corporate jet, we'll have him involved. But we're going to do something kind of cool. So we're going to have more details coming, but the fans should like what we're planning, right, Thomas?
Absolutely, John. It'll be must see. I shouldn't say TV. Must see live podcast, internet, Facebook, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, well, it will include video, which is kind of a newfound thing, evidently, in Citadel world. Hey, again, we couldn't do the show without IPS Packaging and Automation. And, if you're going to be out pulling for the Bulldogs at Gardner-Webb or anytime you're pulling for the Dogs, we want to let you know about this true champion on and off the field, IPS Packaging and Automation. This is a family-owned, operated business that's been around since 1976. with all the decades they got in football support and more, they stand tall as a leader in packaging products, automation equipment, and their great service too. IPS Packaging and Automation, they play a crucial role in the packaging processes of countless businesses and manufacturing facilities all over the good old US of A. And you know what? They've been supporting Citadel Athletics for a long time. Discover what IPS Packaging and Automation, a Citadel-led business, can do for you. Go to the website, ipack.com, or call them at 800-277-7007. I say again, 800-277-7007. IPS Packaging and Automation is a proud supporter of those Citadel Bulldogs. All right, back to Bulldog talk. Citadel style, because we did have Samford last week. We've got the running Bulldogs coming up here this week. Andrew, this was a game that was nip and tuck. The Citadel kind of struggled in some parts of the game. That second half, they really found their groove in all facets of the game, it seemed.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things that that I thought that the Citadel was able to do was offensively, they were kind of able in the second half to establish a little bit more of their running game. Now, it's not where Coach Drayton wants it to be. You know, he wants the running backs a little bit more involved than they were this past week against Samford. He wants to see more production out of them. You know, but I thought Quentin Hayes and Kobe Tompkins both had their moments running the football. Not sometimes not out of the traditional triple option offense, but just kind of creating plays, dynamic plays with their legs. And I thought both those guys turned in a really good performance, especially in the second half. Really nice to see Kobe Tompkins kind of air that one out to Javonte Billips, who caught 6 passes for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns, a career day for him. You know, just overall, there's not a whole lot you can complain about. Yeah, Samford did run 94 plays. Yes, they had 450 yards of total offense, but the bottom line is, and the number one statistic in defensive football is points against, points allowed, whatever you want to call it. And they only allowed, 13 points, which I thought was a really good performance from the Citadel defense.
And Javonte G. Billips, we salute you. You're the SoCon Offensive Player of the Week, and he wasn't the only dog to get SoCon honors this week.
No. Bradley Jones also, with the return for a touchdown that he had on the fake field goal, he was also the special teams player of the week as well. So a couple of Citadel Bulldogs got conference honors this week.
Well, Thomas, you're going to love this. I've been a big JGB fan for a while for one simple reason. Well, first of all, he went through the Corps, and he's a graduate student. In fact, I'll tell you a fun fact about him that Coach Drayton brought up in his presser this week. But one of the reasons that JGB is one of my favorite dogs, I like them all, but he's up there at the top. You know why, Thomas?
Please tell us, John.
He follows my teenage son's Instagram account. And I think he's the only D1 athlete doing that. So thank you.
What a good guy.
He's a great guy. He's been following it for about 2 years. Like I said, I've got like a 10th grader in high school. And one day he goes, Billups is following me. And I was pretty happy about that. Now, here's the cool thing about Javonte. First of all, this past week that he showed out on truly was in his home state of Alabama. He's a Mobile native, but he may be the only, you'll like this part too, Thomas. He may be the only Division I athlete who's playing college football right now at his own expense because it's really costing him. Andrew, Coach Drayton brought this up. Could you fill us in a little bit more?
Yeah, Javonte got accepted into a physical therapy school. He had a number of different schools, a number of different choices he could have gone to, and instead he decided to return to work on his graduate degree at the Citadel. And yeah, he's paying his own way to go to school, which is kind of exemplary of him to do. And I don't know if I would have been in a similar situation if I would have done that, because he had a great opportunity at a couple of different schools to continue his education and get into his quote unquote next chapter of his life. And instead he decided to come back for his last year of eligibility. So definitely a tip of the hat to him. He's a great young man, and anybody who's spent any time with him talking to him knows that.
Thomas, most schools, they pay their athletes. In this case, this guy's paying to go to the Citadel. And I know he went through the system already and has his degree and more. But what a great story there coming out of the 843.
Yeah, well, John, I think we we laugh about it sometimes. We used to say back in the old Corps, we actually paid to get abused at the Citadel. So yeah, that sounds like it's working out well for Mr. Phillips.
Yeah, we actually did pay. I don't know about your class, but we paid, absolutely paid. I'm still paying for it. So anyway, great honors there. And look, that defense also, we got. I know it's easy to focus on the offense, but that defense really put a hurting on Samford. Before we started the show, I found a rival podcast. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but it's a Samford podcast, and based on the looks of their host, they don't know where they're going with this Chris Hatcher-led program. They needed to win this game. They got embarrassed their first game against a team they should have probably beat at home, and here they have the little old Citadel coming in for the second year in a row and kicking their butt.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the statistics, to second what Andrew talked about earlier, you would say there's no way, or it's likely we lost this game. But if you look at just giving up 13 points on the road in a place we haven't won since 2015, so it's been a decade. The defense really was a bend not break mentality, John. Just great overall performance, and obviously the difference in the game is the 4 turnovers. So it doesn't matter, how you score those points, offense, defense, special teams. So anyway, it was just what a great win, sitting at the top of SoCon at 1-0. I think Andrew basically preached to us last week that one game does not a season make, and what a great turnaround from one Saturday to the next.
Did you say that, Andrew?
I'm sure I did it, but what I think this shows you is the resiliency of the players and this coaching staff. Although again, I think I did say this last week. I was more optimistic about the rest of the season for the Citadel after the North Dakota State game than I was before it, because I thought the defense against North Dakota State showed a physical, aggressive, downhill kind of style. That's what Raleigh Jackson wants, and I think again. They showed that again in Alabama this past week, and a lot of those turnovers were caused by quarterback pressure or gang tackling, stuff like that. And if that continues, I think again the only game that I don't think the Citadel can win from here on out is the Ole Miss game. And hey, they might surprise us there, who knows? But all the other 9 games that are left on their schedule, 10, I guess. 9 if you exclude the Ole Miss game, but all the other 9 games, they got a chance to win every single one. There's no dominant team right now in the Southern Conference. So we saw, Furman got beat by Presbyterian, again a non-scholarship program that just beat Mercer, and they beat Furman. So it's all wide open now, and the Citadel controls their own destiny. Now we're getting way ahead of ourselves here, but I don't think that it's not too early to talk about what could be.
Well, the Citadel did a great job, and I'm going to take credit for it because a certain guy on this program texted me when things weren't looking so good early in the game, and I made a smart aleck comment about the Citadel, and guess what? It wasn't 5 seconds later they started kicking butt. So, Thomas, I'm the doubting Thomas, evidently, not you, but what a turnaround. Thanks for the text.
Yeah, I think that was after the second unsuccessful pitch in the option. And I said, have they worked on this this year? If we can't pitch the ball correctly, there's no way we can score. And yeah, they proved us both wrong.
I think they're monitoring our phones, and that's fine. I've got a pretty exciting telephone account. Hey, we couldn't do this show without the good folks at Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. Happy today or you don't pay. If you go to their website, franklinplumbing.sc.com, you can book an appointment and go there right now and do that, or call 803-761-0167. A full-service plumbing, gas, drain, and sewer company based in Columbia, and they've got expert service available 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. If you go to Franklin Plumbing SC right now, you can get the coupon for a $250 off sewer replacement. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, with repairs, quality work They're highly recommended, and they even do emergency plumbing. So check it out. Again, the website is franklinplumbing.sc.com. I've got that right here on the refrigerator, ready to call them at any time. Franklin Plumbing, thank you for your support of Citadel Athletics here on Citadel Grayline. 40-13, El Cid dominates in Homewood. Did the Citadel come out of this game healthy, Andrew?
Pretty much, yes. I have not heard of any major injuries that would preclude anybody from the two-deep chart from playing this weekend up in Boiling Springs, North Carolina.
All right. And one of the cool things about this victory over in the 205 was that it's always fun to win on the road. It's fun to win at home, too, but it's really fun to win on the road. But when you win, I think it's the furthest destination the Citadel goes. And so they probably got on their bus at 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern, and they've got a roughly 10-hour road trip back to Charleston. They got back at probably 4 in the morning. That makes it a lot more exciting, don't you think, Thomas? Doubting Thomas?
Yeah, I'm sure that was a fun bus ride back, John. A happy bus ride back to Charleston.
Yeah, in the middle of the night. And I don't know about you. You probably stumbled into campus once or twice at 4 in the morning yourself.
4, no. I think our curfew was a little earlier. Stumbled,
Okay.
yes, but curfew was a little earlier than 4 a.m.
All right, well, that's good to know from Cadet General Scruggs. Okay, you turn the page. You got another road trip this week. And Gardner-Webb, as we said, they've already got a victory over a SoCon team. They beat Western Carolina. They actually came back from a big deficit to beat the Catamounts. What do we know about this team, which just faced off against Georgia Tech, actually got the lead on the Jackets a couple of days ago at Grant Field? Tell me more about the running Bulldogs, Andrew.
Well, they're very long, very athletic. They have a multitude of FBS transfers from major programs on their roster. And you already kind of touched on it earlier. They were down, again, I think 35-3 at one point against Western Carolina. They came storming back and won that game. So that shows you the offensive production that this team can have. The Georgia Tech game, I think they got up early on that one. I've not watched the entire game there, but that was also against Georgia Tech's second string quarterback too, and they still put 59 points on them. So this is going to probably turn into a little bit of a scoring offensive back and forth here between these two teams. So Citadel's got to have that bend but don't break mentality again like they had against Samford. But I guarantee you that Raleigh Jackson, the defensive coordinator, and Maury Strait, and the head coach, don't want to see Gardner-Webb winning 90-plus plays, because that's not a formula for success. That's not a formula for your defense to be able to win, even though they were able to do it this time. And again, winning the turnover battle is going to be crucial again for the Citadel Bulldogs, not the running Bulldogs.
Right. In Boiling Springs, North Carolina, and if you haven't found that on the map yet, it is in the neighborhood of Charlotte, actually. And Andrew, Thomas decided to take a break from us here for a second, but that's fine. I guess he can't handle the running Bulldog talk. But I actually went to that 2016 game that the Citadel played up there. It may have been the first game at Gardner-Webb in modern history, at least. It's really not far from Spartanburg. It's like 25 minutes from Spartanburg is where you'll find the campus, but it's across the line in North Carolina. And a nice stadium. The Citadel, that was the year they started the season 10-0. Only lost the last game of the season, a game at North Carolina. But that was a great championship season for the Citadel. But they struggled against Gardner-Webb even during that game in 2016. So it's going to be a good environment there and a great opportunity if you're an upstate Citadel fan or in the Charlotte area to come on over to Gardner-Webb and see what I think is sort of a Southern Conference-like football team there. They've had some good success in the conference that they're in with I guess Charleston Southern is one of their conference mates, right?
Yeah, yep.
And so come on out, see if the Citadel can get on to 2-1 after this contest. You got everything settled, Thomas?
Yeah, sorry, I had a package delivered.
Oh, Amazon. Amazon came to see you.
It wasn't IPS packaging.
Oh, it should have been.
No, it was unfortunately the box may have come from there, or the packing tape. I don't know.
Well, it might have been a love letter from me, but glad you got it there.
I
Glad
hope
you
not.
So tell me about Gardner-Webb. Have they made it to the FCS playoffs in recent years, Andrew?
Not to my knowledge. I've not delved that deeply into that into the past history of Gardner-Webb. I apologize for that, but yeah, they, the best team kind of in that Big South OVE, the Ohio Valley Conference, their merger, still is the team from Tennessee Tech. I mean, they're still nationally ranked, and they're the kind of the best team, the cream of the crop from that conference. So, but Gardner-Webb again. What they've done this season, again, beating Western Carolina the way they did, you better take this team seriously. If not, you do that at your own peril, I think.
And while you're mentioning the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles, kudos to them. They knocked off a Southern Conference team this past weekend. Chattanooga, I think, went to Cookeville and got beat pretty bad. And the bad news for us Citadel fans is guess who's going to be joining the SoCon next year? It would be those TTU Eagles, but we'll worry about them next year. So Gardner-Webb, Citadel should be going in this game with a lot of momentum, and if you could take your magic wand and wave it over any part of this football team, Andrew, what do you think needs a little bit more help?
Well, I think their running game definitely needs a little bit more help, especially at the running back position. They haven't had the kind of production that they'd hoped they'd have. Obviously, Corey Ibrahim, he's out for the year. He was a top returning rusher from a year ago. But I'd like to see them get Quentin Hayes and Kobe Tompkins a little bit more involved in kind of the classic triple option. Both these guys can run. They're threats to run with their legs. And I think that's going to set up a lot of other things if they can kind of establish that triple option, which, Maurice Drayton has been saying he's been wanting to do the entire time that he's been there, is kind of revive that not the wishbone, but what do they call it? I guess the coast flex offense or something like that. Kind of vis-a-vis the Coastal Carolina and kind of the offense that they ran when they were really successful. So, yeah, I'd like to see those two guys get a little bit more involved in the running game. Last year, Jonathan Bennett was the leading rusher, the quarterback for the Citadel. And I think that in these kinds of offenses, you got to have that. And now you have two guys who can run this offense and who can be legitimate threats with their legs. So people talk about not wanting to run them too much. Well, if you got two guys that are pretty much identical to each other, why not? That's what I say. And they've both proven that they can make dynamic plays, chunk plays in their offense.
Have either one of you gentlemen seen thus far any kind of small sample of the triple option, even trying to be attempted out there?
Yeah, well, there was one play specifically against North Dakota. It was in the second half. Quentin Hayes had a classic triple option play, and he actually had, I think, the longest run from scrimmage against North Dakota. It was 18 yards. But, yeah, he held the ball, faked the pitch, held the ball, turned it upfield. I remember it went around the right side of the formation. So they have done it, but you're right. The two pitches at Samford were just dreadful, and Maurice Drayton brought that up in the press conference here on Monday.
Dreadful. Okay, that's a little bit stronger than what Thomas sent me at 3:30.
You can't repeat what I sent you on the air, John.
Okay. Well, that's why I sent you that love letter to apologize.
And Maurice Drayton at Monday said, "Look, we have got, if we're going to be an option team, we have got to be able to make that play." I mean, he was kind of beside himself, just wondering how they could mess that up, not once but twice.
Right. Well, hopefully the Dogs are going to figure out their offensive woes, especially with the running game, and we'll find out that they will build it the right way. In fact, Hood Construction, they build it the right way. For 39 years, they've been building it the right way. Hood Construction is a full-service construction management company serving South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. Did you realize that Hood Construction takes a holistic approach to their clients' businesses, and they have project objectives that they meet in order to find the best value solutions? Work with the best, Hood Construction. Go to the website hoodconstruction.com and see some of the working projects they've got going on throughout the state of South Carolina, like the North Augusta Public Safety Headquarters there, and Judson Bomer's hometown of North Augusta. Also in Tigerville up there in the upstate. They've got the NGU Robert W. Plaster Free Enterprise Center they're working on. They've got a big project going on in Charleston right now at the college, and so much more. Hoodconstruction.com. Go there and see what they've got going, and maybe you can find a way to employ Hood Construction with whatever construction project you've got headed your way. On this program, we offer a fun little segment each week where you can chime in with the answer possibly and win some cool stuff. SeniorPrivateShop.com is the website that helps us give away goodies. And I got to tell you that last week we had our knob knowledge question that we answered on last week's show. I don't want to bore you, but that particular knob knowledge question had to do with Winsboro, South Carolina, and Mr. DuBose, or Colonel or General, whichever rank he was, who went on to be a major player in the Episcopal Church after the Civil War. Well, Winsboro, South Carolina had me thinking, what else besides DuBose has to do with Winsboro? And Ellis Johnson came to mind, the former Citadel player, coach, and went on to have great success in FBS football. He's going to be our special guest next week on Citadel Gray Line. So we'll have a former coach join us, and it ought to be a lot of fun. He's been on the program before, but whenever he is on Citadel Gray Line next week, it'll be a lot of fun to reconnect with this Citadel great, and did a decent job at the Citadel before he moved on to, I think it was Mississippi State as their defensive coordinator back in the day. So thank you, Ellis, for coming on, and a warning. If you got a question or comment for Coach Johnson, feel free to send it our way before we get ready for next week's show. Again, Citadel Gray Line is powered in part by Senior Private Shop. SeniorPrivate.com is the website address, and they offer our knob knowledge question each week. And we've got our question here. And if you can successfully answer this before we get going on next week's show, or before this show ends, then we'll get you your prize pack en route. This week's prize pack includes a Citadel patch set, including the official hockey team patch at the Citadel. Here's your knob knowledge question powered by Senior Private. The anniversary of the first service at Summerall Chapel was on this past Tuesday. At the time, September 9th, 1937, it was named the Cadet Chapel. It wasn't until General Summerall's retirement in 1953 that it was renamed after him. But in March 24th, 1934, the Board of Visitors initially approved that it be named after an alumnus. So it was called the Cadet Chapel. Ultimately, it would be changed to Summerall Chapel. But when the thing was originally sketched out, they were going to name it after another alumnus of the Citadel. Back in 34, the Board of Visitors approved that alumnus to have his name across this chapel. Who was that alum that could have had their name on what we know as Summerall Chapel today? If you send us the correct answer to 843-779-8496, 843-779-8496, you'll get this awesome Citadel patch set, which, as I said, includes the official Citadel hockey team patch. So, Andrew, hopefully we can maybe swap out that Quebec Nordiques hat with a Citadel hockey patch, if you would agree to such a thing.
Of course. And what's frightening is that I actually know the head coach. The head coach of the Citadel hockey team is on my beer league hockey team this season. So I'll definitely he'll be bending my ear about getting them some coverage.
Well, this show just took a whole new turn. What is a beer league?
It's just a men's league. It's kind of the way we refer to the hockey league, because there's actually a bar at the rink. So you go there, you play your game, and then there's a place to socialize afterwards. So
you play hockey?
I do. Yes. I don't know, not very well, but I do play hockey. Yes.
Wow. We finally got Happy Gilmore here on our show. No, that's pretty neat. I mean, that's a lot of work out there, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. And I didn't start playing the sport till I was almost 40 years old. So yeah, it's not a sport that's very easy to pick up. People ask me about it, and I say, think about playing basketball, dribbling the basketball, passing the basketball, shooting the basketball, and then not knowing how to run or walk. And that's what playing hockey's like. You gotta pass the puck, shoot the puck, handle the puck, but you don't know how to skate. So yeah.
How do you do in the fighting aspect?
I haven't been in many fisticuffs out there. We try to limit that in beer league hockey because everybody's got to wake up and go to work the next day. But yeah, as long as as long as I have my balance underneath me, then I'm okay. But not many fights for me.
All right. Well, maybe we'll see you in action here one day. And kudos to the Citadel hockey team. I mean, I know they've been going a good 20 years or so, and they must have some good support, and we wish them well. It'd be kind of neat if that program ever could move up to maybe a actual NCAA level. But I know there are very few hockey teams in the Southeast for a while there, and it may still be the case. The only one was the University of Alabama at Huntsville, not the one in Tuscaloosa. So
and a nationally ranked hockey program you're talking about.
Oh, what UAH is?
Yep. Or they were and have been in the past, yes.
All right. Well, John Olszewski, I'm sure he's a big fan there and as President Trump said the other day, the Rocket City, which had actually been called that for 50 plus years. But cool deal. All right. Citadel Athletics Beyond Football. What can you tell us is going on at 171 Moultrie Street?
Well, I've had my head buried in South Carolina and the Citadel football this past weekend. So other than that, I don't have a whole lot to report, and I've been keeping up with Charleston Battery soccer and among other things as well. So I apologize for not being on the ball this week.
It's okay. We'll forgive you. You're a busy guy is what I think you're trying to tell us.
Yeah.
A busy guy that can kick our butt because you're a hockey player. The basketball team hasn't officially started practice. Can you at least tell us that?
Yeah, well, no, you can work out now. You have a certain number of workouts between the beginning of class and then when you're quote unquote 30 days before your season opener. So they've had some practices. I've been to a couple of them.
Okay.
So they're already working out. I know the baseball team is working out as well. I think they're playing Coastal Carolina. That's part of one. I know that's one of the teams that they're going to play in fall baseball. So everything's kind of up and running here.
Wasn't the Air Force the other team, Andrew?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Air Force is.
Yeah, Air Force and Coastal. Yep.
Coastal, yeah. So two really good matchups there for them, and again, Russell Triplett, who lived just a few doors down from where my mother-in-law lives in Newberry when he was at Newberry College. Just doing a great job and moving into year 2 of his program.
Looking forward to it. And while you mentioned the Conway Chickens, got to give them credit. They had around 22,000 at their game against Charleston Southern this past weekend. You know, they're giving away free food there, and it was the largest crowd they've ever had at Brooks Stadium. Maybe the Citadel can start giving away stuff. How does that sound, Thomas?
I don't think we have the budget that Coastal has. So, no, I don't think we'll be doing that anytime soon. Maybe we should start a beer league over at Johnson Haygood.
Yeah. I mean, they've had –
and they don't have –
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No. You first.
I was going to say they don't have the billionaire beneficiary either, too, kind of leading their program.
Yeah, the old coach you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've got Thomas Scruggs. What else do you need? Thomas, help us out. We want some free stuff. We want some free stuff.
You're always asking for free stuff, John.
I mean, if you don't ask, you're probably not going to get it. So I'm not opposed to asking, But anyway, we got these sports on the horizon and looking forward to covering it with Andrew Miller. Hey, by the way, Andrew can be found online at APMiller_PNC. And that's his X account and other socials that he might be part of, APMiller_PNC. The website for the newspaper is postandcourier.com with great coverage, not just of the Citadel, but as Andrew mentioned, he was on the Gamecock beat last week for their struggle against the SC State Bulldogs. SC State, got to give them credit. They beat Wofford in week 1, and dadgummit, it looked like they might pull the real shocker against Lenora Sellers and company this past weekend, but it didn't work out in the end. But we're glad, hopefully, maybe this week we got you on mostly Citadel coverage. Mostly?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay. Because you mentioned
and
the
I'll be
battery.
headed up to As I say, I'll be headed up to Boiling Springs, North Carolina for this game as well.
Oh, awesome. Well, say hello to everybody. When I said they were near Gaffney, they actually are they're near Spartanburg, yes, but they're really closer to Gaffney, and that was my pregame there before the last time the Citadel played, and so hello to everybody there in Gaffney, SC, a place that yours truly has actually broken down on the highway, and they don't have taxi service. Oh no, they don't have. At that time, they did not have Uber in. Is that Cherokee County? Do we know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
They did not have Uber service back in late 2018, 19, whenever I broke down. So they had taxi services. And I was trying to get a ride to the Greenville airport to get a rental car. And the darn taxi shows up, and I put all my stuff in the car, and the guy goes, "Oh, by the way, they misquoted you on the telephone." And he essentially tripled the price that they told me the ride was going to be to go from Gaffney to the Greenville airport. And I said, you know what? I'm going to get my stuff, and I'm going to find another way to get to Greenville. And so I took it out of the car, and I did something I'd never done before. You know what that was, Andrew?
Walk.
This. This.
Did you get a ride?
I did. I did.
Oh,
in fact, I had to use South Carolina sports as my in to get a ride. I was, being a native, I thought maybe they might give this idiot a ride. And so I saw a guy coming in, a lot of Clemson fans coming in to the gas station that I was trying to get a ride. But I saw a guy wearing a Gamecock thing, and I said, "Oh, and we just started talking. I said, "Oh, by the way, could you give me a ride?" And he gave me a ride. And
cool.
he had to go to like Anderson. He was in Gaffney, headed to Anderson. So all he had to do was sweep in there and drop me off. But thank you, whoever you were. And the bad thing is I had a really treasured pair of shoes, and I left them in his car when I was transferring my stuff. But I've actually hitchhiked, and I survived. Now, if the Citadel will just ride without hitchhiking to Bowling Springs, North Carolina, and that includes you on the journey there, and come out of that area with a big win, that would make me happy, and I might find those shoes that I lost many years ago. No hitchhiking stories from either one of you?
I think the moral of that story is don't ride with John Rawl anywhere in the upstate.
No, that's not true, Andrew. You didn't chime in. I mean, Thomas, you didn't chime in. If you're a Citadel cadet, chances are you've hitchhiked, because as a little knobby, there's a good chance you got in a car with somebody you didn't know, and they took you back to campus or whatever. Did you ever partake in that, Tommy?
I'm sure I did, John.
You don't even remember?
I don't remember. Yeah. No.
You were hanging out at Citadel Mall back in the day, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Anything? Let's stop the hitchhike talk. Anything else you guys have before we say goodbye for the week?
Go Dogs.
Yeah. Let's win the turnover battle, establish the line of scrimmage, get that running game going, and I think good things are going to happen Saturday up in Boiling Springs, North Carolina.
Well, we sure hope so. And again, check out Andrew Miller's coverage of this contest. It's not going to be, seriously, if we went to Vegas on this game, I would say the Citadel would definitely be the underdog, correct?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So a victory would be quite impressive for El Cid this week as the cadets march up to face the running Bulldogs. We'll be back here next week to tell you all about it. Again, Ellis Johnson will be our special guest. We look forward to having you join us. And thank you, gentlemen, both of you. You can go open that Amazon package now, Thomas. And we'll be back here next week with more of Citadel Gridline. Until that time, y'all have a great week.